I feel that voting gives each of us a voice, that we can express ourselves through voting.
The reason it would be harder for a person with a disability to vote is, one, they have to have their PCA have time to get them ready to go vote. The second thing is transportation. They had to schedule transportation to get to the office to go and vote. The third thing is financial, finding the money and the resources to go and vote.
So any barrier that we put up that might cost someone money is going to be a problem for many people with disabilities, most of whom are low income, and many of us are not employed at all.
Since I turned 18, I moved 12 times. I went to school on the East Coast and did a couple internships around the country, and have just lived basically every 6 months prepared to pack my bags and move someplace else. The last time I moved was right around the election season. I was living in one neighborhood during the primary and moved on September 1st to a different neighborhood, so I voted in a different precinct for the general election. So it was a very quick turnover, but I was fortunate that the mechanisms in place gave me no hassle, that I could vote without having a photo ID that had those temporary addresses, and I could very easily register myself and my new roommates.
On election day, I vouched for several moms I know who are staying in emergency shelter a few floors just below me. One mom voted for the first time in years, and it made her feel extremely happy to finally feel a part of society. People lose their housing for so many reasons that are out of their control. Renters get foreclosed on, jobs are lost, and domestic violence and divorce, just to name a few. But when people are homeless and they still show up to vote on election day, they're saying, I'm working to make my life better and I refuse to give up. When moms are fleeing abusive partners, they are thinking about their children, not about packing documents or other forms of identification. Hundreds of Minnesotans who are eligible to vote simply are too poor to afford stable housing. Minnesotans in poverty should not lose the right to vote.
The World War II veterans are from 85 to 95 years old, you know, and or older. But for them to have to come up with an ID, I don't think that's the thing to do. Not at all. It just all of a sudden tells you, well, we're not sure about you. You know, I'm sure I didn't fight this war so I could show you when I'm 85 years old that I am a veteran and a citizen of the United States. I think I've proven that all the way through that I am. And it would be so wrong. It would be so wrong if I'm a voter in Washington County, and I've been a voter in Washington County since 1973, and all of a sudden in 2011 I go to vote and I don't have identification with me, and therefore I cannot vote. You can't do that to a person.
One of my concerns about seniors and photo IDs, people who are shut-ins, they don't have the transportation to even go and get the photo ID if they're able to. They don't have, they have to pay to get where they're going, to get the photo ID. It's just a difficult thing.
I don't have a state ID with my address in St. Cloud on it. My address is from Rochester's on it.
I'm from the cities, so I live here in St. Cloud, and I have my St. Cloud address here, and it's not going to work obviously for me. Then that would, you know, discourage me from going to vote if I can't do it.
Voting should be fair to all the citizens of the United States. And I have to admit, I've become more aware of those restrictions since I have become more restricted.